Welcome back to the Scale Forward podcast. I'm your host, Russell. Today, I'm joined by Mariah Parsons, Head of Marketing at Malomo. Malomo helps brands turn post-purchase into real revenue. Mariah, great to have you here on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I think we already have had such great conversations in the few times before this podcast. So I know it's going to be a good one.
Yes, we have, particularly just now around AI. So hopefully we get to that a little bit later in the show. But for listeners who are just joining in, can you give us the quick arc, a quick background of who you are, what you do at Malomo, and I guess what is Malomo?
Yeah, for sure. Yes. So, like you said, Mariah Parsons, I have been at the Malomo team for the past 4.5 years, and it has felt like a blip and a lifetime in all the same, which I feel like a lot of your listeners will relate to, especially if they're in the startup world. So I'll go through my background first. But to give a general overview, Malomo is a branded post-purchase experience platform. So the thing that we specialize in is branded order tracking. So typically customers are sent to a carrier website like FedEx, UPS, if you're in the States, those are pretty typical, or DHL. And so what Maloma does is it brings those customers back to a D2C brand's website so that you can further engage and really make that experience the best that it possibly can be. So yeah, I found Malomo through this entrepreneurial program that our co-founder and CEO was a part of. And so the program basically acts, it's called Or Fellowship. It's out of the city of Indianapolis in Indiana in the States. And it acts to really recruit the talent that, a caliber of what a tech startup needs or a nonprofit, and you go through a bunch of interviews, and at the end of the day you have a super day and you interview with all these founders. And since Malomo, we have roots in Indianapolis, and with this program, that's how I met the team, was familiarized with them, and just have loved it ever since. And my background is in neuroscience, and so coming into the marketing world, I definitely apply that. Yeah, I took a left turn, and I don't regret one day of it because I have loved seeing how just like the excitement and the joy that when a founder or an operator can get back control over something that they work so tirelessly over, like the customer experience, especially post purchase, because that is not an area, like typically a lot of stores are run on Shopify and you have so much control that you can get a site up and running relatively quickly when you look at, the history of getting an e-commerce site up and running. But on the post purchase side of things, you do send like a lot of your traffic right when the customer is ordered with you, you send them to a third party website. Like I said, the carrier website. So I see the excitement as a marketer of like all the wonderful people that we get to work with, where they're like, oh my God, this is cool that we get to control what our customers are seeing while their order is being shipped to them when they're at their like highest peak. So that's kind of what intrigued me about Malomo, where it's like it is such a cool space because not only are we innovating and improving on the product, but also carving out this new area that hasn't really been addressed. So it's been cool to see through the years of like, oh, this is becoming more of a understood platform that you could even do this type of thing within your transactional emails, because there's also some compliance confusion around like can spam and what you can put in emails that are transactional versus not. So yeah, that's like been the most rewarding thing about joining this job and seeing it grow over the past 4.5 years. So yeah, that's kind of like, I guess, the 5-minute background of how I landed here and what I'm loving and what intrigues me.
So interesting. I mean, neuroscience interesting enough in itself, but talk about that program a little bit more. How did you find out about that?
Yeah, so I found out about it through social media, and I feel like that is, if that isn't like customer acquisition at its finest in a different light, but social media. So the program is set up where once you're in the program, it's 2 years. There's a focus for all of the students to recruit. And so you're posting on your social medias. And that's how I found it, of just a student that was, a friend in college who was a couple years above me had posted it on her story. I saw it. I was like, okay, this looks interesting. And then spoke with her about it, saw what it was kind of all about and how entrepreneurial minded it was. And
They
then,
still
yeah,
have them
just,
today?
yeah, yep, still happening
Awesome.
today. So it's
Okay.
a great program. I think more cities should have it, honestly, because it is a great way to connect, especially startups, but any businesses with talent that is similar minded and it really helps, at least for Malomo, where it's like you're not this, you're not this company that is going to focus on having our whole entire recruitment team to get the talent, right? Or startup. So I think having the assistance of a program like this, where it's like we will recruit the talent and then the company gets to come in the final day and say, like, you get to interview with 5 to 6 people and choose, rank those candidates. And then the candidate gets to do that as well, is a really, really cool and unique
Yeah, I think it's
setup.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great.
So that was 4 years ago you did that. So where was Malomo back then and where is it at today?
Yeah, yeah, very exciting. When I first joined, I would say that we were, I mean, even just the landscape of e-commerce, because it was 2021. And so we were in the e-commerce boom. It was like I feel like flying hot pancakes or whatever the saying is, like it was like everyone was in e-commerce, it felt like a lot of buzz. There were all of these like best in player apps, and Shopify was rewarding those apps. Like so many stores were opening. And so I feel like when I joined Malomo, it was like, oh my God, drinking from a water hose. And like, let's be honest, it still is, right? Like that's just e-commerce, but also, our level of company as well. And so I feel like there was all of what we were really focusing on is like understanding who's in the space, what are they trying to do, and how can we focus on having the best customer experience possible for our customers, because that's what the platform is all about, right? Is enabling brands to give the best customer experience to their customers. So we were much more focused on, like concierge onboarding and really making the experience like kind of the like hopping on a demo, not really focusing on self-starter. And now today, the industry, the economics have all shifted to more self-starter, where it's like e-commerce operators are now like, I know what I want. Let me get into the platform, see if you have what I need, and then go from there. And so it's been really cool to see the product develop in a way where we have transitioned the look and the experience of our customers without forgetting those roots of still having a great customer experience. But that doesn't necessarily have to mean touch points, because that's not what our customers want anymore, right? Like typically, and you still have people who do, right? But typically now it's, I want to be able to get into your platform for free and let me see what it's all about. Can I set it up myself? Is it actually easy? Is there ROI to be captured? And can I see it quickly? And so that is when I step back, of course, there's so many things, right, that are within dynamics and moving and product shifts and what I'm doing on the marketing front. But that's kind of when I look at the product and the company overall, is like, how has it shifted? Much more to the self-starter, still like being best in class with what we do and developing the product there. But I would say that's one of the biggest, coolest things that I've seen when I look at our growth.
It's funny you mentioned the self onboarding or self starter. I was looking for a new CRM today and one I could sign up right away, free trial, no credit card needed. I'm bang, bang. I'm in the dashboard within literally 45 seconds. The other one, name, email, company name. What do you do? What do you want to use it for? Like about literally 14 questions. And then before I even get to see the dashboard, they're like, it's a free trial, but gives you credit card. I'm like, for goodness sake.
Hmm.
I just shut it down and I emailed them, like, close my account. I don't want it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm definitely one of those, like, let me try it. Don't even get my credit card. I know what I want. I know what I'm looking for. If I like it, I'll buy it.
Yeah,
That's
right? Like,
definitely me.
it's like we're all smart, we know what we want, and, like, we want the support to be there for when we need it, but I'm the same way, right? Like, we're on Riverside right now, right? And it's like,
Yeah,
how can you get into the platform and test it before you even want to, give some of your budget to this
pretty
platform
much. Yep.
or whatever you're looking at? So, yeah, I think it's a transition a lot of people will feel, where in e-commerce now that it's a little bit less chaotic. I'm hesitant to even say that because it's still so chaotic, but like after the e-commerce post-COVID boom, I think it is evened out, where a lot of software companies have seen that transition of like e-commerce operators. Now they know what they want and give it to them and let them decide. And honestly, as a marketer, that is the coolest thing to see, of like go and do it. Like the selling is the product, right? Like product like growth, like go do the thing. And when you see crazy ROI numbers, that's the most powerful thing that a brand could see, is like, for us, example, this order tracking page is generating so many more additional repeat orders that you wouldn't have captured if you sent them to ups.com. And so many other companies have their version of that, right? Where it's like you're capturing those that revenue that you wouldn't be elsewhere.
Yeah, especially when and it's so obviously clear. It's way better ROI than any ad spend you'll get. Talk us through talk us through a typical day of yours.
Yes.
What does it what does it look like?
A lot of time of me on my laptop and typing away.
Yes.
So I'm sure everyone can relate to that. And then sometimes I get to do fun things like this with you. So yeah, typical day is I'll start with a Monday because I feel like that is just, it's a fun day. You're setting up your
Yeah,
week.
and then
But
tell us all the different hats that you wear.
yes, yeah, yeah, for sure. So typical start of the week is obviously checking email. But I won't go through that minute of details. But usually I pick out a couple of keywords that I know I'm going to target for SEO that week. I little bit of background of where I get those keywords because I definitely quarterly will kind of go through and update those and create a list for me to go through. So that's definitely some of my week, and writing those SEO posts is a good chunk of my time because that is where a lot of our inbound comes from. And so, obviously, adjusting that to AI and LLMs has also been a big part of my weeks nowadays. Researching new tools, researching what the best in class, what the new updates are, how to format the SEO posts, or how to format LinkedIn articles, or even like reading Reddit posts of what people are finding, because it's still we're waiting, we're in the AI boom, right? Like we're in figuring some things out. And so just kind of seeing what the community is saying about what is working, what's not, what you could try. That also I've tacked that on to my kind of my SEO work of how can I just continue to stay updated, make sure we're doing best of practices. So I would say SEO takes, like, when you look at a full week, probably a full day for me to get those, the research and get the posts out, write them, do all of that, which I know we'll probably want to go into a little bit of detail there. And then next thing I do is I'll look at the email campaigns that we're running. And that's more on I'll look, like, zoom out a little bit, look on a monthly basis and see, what launches do we have coming up, what webinars, what events, and then work backwards from, okay, like, I know these 2 weeks are going to be focused completely for this product launch. So how can we, if there's a drip campaign that I want to run on this specific, let's say like our reporting, right? Like, a lot of our customers will go to our reporting because it's all in one place about shipments and orders and delayed orders and all of that wonderful rich data that we all love. So I'll do, like, okay, we need to, send out, like, okay, this is what you can do with the reporting. Here's a new interesting fun way that this customer of ours spliced their data in this case study and run, right, like the marketing drip campaigns. So I'll kind of space them out that way. And then, of course, writing those emails, doing the graphics, figuring out if I want to segment them in any which way. I would say a typical week probably takes also about a day to figure out all of the communication. So email, but then also socials, and figuring out what if we need to adjust anything, graphics, copy, all that fun stuff. And then usually probably half of a day worth of time for meetings in those weeks. Which is very light. Like, how do you feel about how many meetings you take? Because I am, like, my weekly basis is, I think, 4 hours of weekly meetings, which is, I don't feel like a lot. But what would you say? Would you say differently?
Yeah, this is gonna
Okay, I
sound
love
weird.
this.
I don't do meetings.
Okay. Tell me why. Wait, now I'm like, the podcaster in me is coming out. I want to hear.
Okay. For every single action that we do in the business, there's an SOP that's built into a project file. And so at any one time, if someone has a question, they can just ask the AI and the AI will give them an answer, and also have a link to the video on how to do that thing. If it's client facing, then it's directly just a message to me in Slack. Okay, I don't do meetings is a white lie.
I was like, technically, we're on a meeting right now.
Yeah, yeah. If it's like, well, for lots of little stuff, I don't do it where it can be answered simply by an AI. If a meeting absolutely has to happen, it's like 15 minutes max.
Yeah. Okay. I feel
Yeah, I
like
just don't
that
have
is
time.
very,
4 hours is way too long.
yeah.
I
Well, okay,
feel
so
I
I will
feel
caveat by, this is the blocked off time. We don't have stuff that it's like we're going to be going back and forth on, we'll cancel them. So
definitely.
I will add it with that caveat. But that is, like, I feel my understanding of everyone else's schedules, which is like, take it with a grain of salt. But is way more than 4 hours, like, compared to mine. So, I'm, like, actually curious in that. I would now, like, wanna run a survey. But yours is definitely the lowest I've heard. So, I will give you that accolade because that is impressive.
I'm not trying to win any accolades or awards, but and my way might not be the right way. I don't have a SaaS or an agency doing like 5 million a month.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's the thing, right? It adjusts. You do what you need and you do what works for you. And sounds like you know what works for you. Like I know going back and forth on Slack for internal, it's like, okay, hop on a call, we'll figure this out in 10 minutes versus like if you're waiting for people to respond, sometimes it can be so much slower.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
Also like automate that shit. Like if someone messages you on Slack or WhatsApp with a general question on hey, when's this campaign supposed to go live or whatever, AI should be able to respond to that.
Yeah, I guess so that's a great call out. Like those questions is not I don't get those questions. Like so my time in chatting with people on Slack is not that where it's like people can get those
Is it like
quick answers somewhere else. Yeah, it's like okay, let's think like brainstorming bigger company things of like, okay, this is what we're doing for this, that, that. Like it is more dialogue and like like ideation based rather than like, okay, everyone check in. We're still good on this product. We're still good on this project. We're still good on this campaign. It's like, okay, here's the update. Like this is what this customer said. Here's what we need to do. Like touch base as a team. So product, CS, marketing, finance is all aligned and then go from there.
but it also makes sense. How many there's someone above you, right? How many people
Yeah.
are you managing?
Yeah. So I have below two consultants that I work with. So
Yeah.
that is also wrapped into that meeting time where it's like, okay, touch base. And that's on an every other week basis of like, okay, these are the things that we need to be rolling out with this timeline. Easier to just do that with a 30-minute call, get it all done for the next 2 weeks, and then go from there. Um, so yeah,
I think
yeah,
it'll change as well when the team grows. You'll only manage
hmm
one person eventually, and
for
then that
sure.
person will manage the other four. And so that's
Yes,
that's kind of how I'm operating. So that's perhaps why I'm doing it way
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yep.
less.
I love that tangent about meetings. Who would have thought that there's so much you can
Yeah,
talk about
it's just crazy.
with it?
Okay,
You get two
so you
podcasters on a call. Talk about
yeah, we
anything.
talk for hours. It's way too long. So let's summarize your day to day. So it's obviously like admin stuff. It's SEO. It's strategy brainstorming. Are you in charge of like all the ads and paid ads as well?
So we actually don't do any paid ads. We're all organic. So I don't have to manage any of those, which that would definitely take a huge chunk of my time. We've tried it in the past and it just wasn't a thing. And we're revisiting of if we should try again. Um and just roll out like put a little bit of spend behind ads. But honestly, like organically, it's still with what we're doing. It's turning the flywheel. So
If it ain't broke,
hard
don't
to go
fix it.
up against that.
Yep, yep.
But
Okay.
yes, so no paid and then webinars, we hadn't gotten to that, but like or events. I group those together for sure. Or, partner launches to like meeting with partner teams or any cool experience like this. Like that also goes into that bucket of maybe more like time based or campaign based where it's like, okay, I know we have this webinar coming up. We need to really get this done or whatever.
Just randomly, who's writing these webinars? Is that your team?
Yeah, so if we're hosting in them, it's me. I'm putting on the show. If it is our partners, then they're doing all the back end logistics, they're writing the copy for the landing pages, giving all the assets for speakers to share, and then if I'm attending, then I will do the back end of making it sure it's on our promo calendar, doing the emails, getting those notifications out. But
Social posts out there and all that
yeah,
good stuff.
Yep, exactly. It's a lot easier to join a webinar than to run one, I will say.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah,
It's a
yep.
good segue. So, out of all these channels that you guys do, that you guys test, you said SEOs is your very best. Webinars also do well, and in-person events are filling up sort of the top of funnel for you. Is that right?
Yeah, so really our approach and it goes back to kind of how we were started from an agency, which I don't think we went into detail about of we started from
Give
an
us a quick
agency
background.
yes, yes, about Malomo. So started as an agency with our two co-founders, and they saw this problem of brands wanting more control over the post-purchase experience. So they were custom building it for each brand. And then they were like, wait, this could spin out into its own software. So it did. And so our roots have always been customer centric. And that came out in, how the actual conversations with customers were going when we were more, hands-on onboarding. But it still reigns true in that, like, our approach with marketing, and that's why I love this company and our approach, because it fits with my own personal beliefs, is just like have a conversation with people and like have it be education based first. Like, shocker, right? Like, don't nobody wants to be like at an event and be like hard sold of like, this is what you're doing wrong. This is why you should onboard with us. This is the price. Like that just, it's, some people do it and they do it so well and like people respond really well. But for us, like meeting people in person has been like, okay, what truly, like, almost looking at it as a researcher of like, what problems are you facing? Like, what's the conversations you're hearing from your peers? Like, kind of just keeping our pulse on, or keeping our finger on the pulse of like what is going on in the ecosystem, and just being represented, honestly, just being present with events. So we kind of view that as like more brand awareness, more awareness for us of what is going on in the ecosystem. And sure, naturally, like some people are going to come through and be like, hey, I loved when we actually got to talk about what you guys do and like, let's explore it. But it comes from a place of like, we have this problem, like a brand, you have this problem. We can chat about it after this, but like we're at an event. Let's go like get to actually know each other while we're here. So yeah, events are specifically for us truly just going and meeting people. Like we don't put on dinners. We like just walk floors, and like a lot of it is just me going up to people and be like, hey, like I'm here by myself. Like, what do you do? Like, let's get to talking and see what, like it kind of just putting us out there as a company. And I found a lot of people are just so receptive to that. And yeah, so like that's kind of how we view events. You're correct. And like just top of the funnel, and then email, SEO, webinars. That's more where we're nurturing and bringing people further down the funnel of like, okay, let's actually talk about use cases. What is applicable to you? What is not? All of those questions that people have.
The only thing, not the only thing, one thing that strikes me is speed. So a lot of times speed is critical for success in business, in life. Is Malomo in a position, are you guys currently going full steam ahead and trying to scale, not at all costs, but as quick as you can? Because whilst I think events are amazing, and they are, they're really good at getting you in front of people. 3% of the people there are ready to buy now. The rest are just, it's just putting the feelers out, right? Building relationships, which are important. But the growth marketer in me is saying it's so slow. Are you having quick success with them? Do you think, have you tested it against other channels such as paid ads, or is it just your industry why events work really well? Because I'm from Australia, we don't have a lot of these events. I live in Thailand. We have founder dinners, unfortunately. That's our events. Not unfortunately, I shouldn't say that. They're freaking fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's not as many events out there, compared to the States. And so I have limited experience going to these things. So I'm just curious on your thoughts about that in terms of speed for growth that going to these events.
Yeah.
Very time consuming.
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah. So when I look at events, it is not a speed play for us because of our approach. And to be fair, I think you can do events well with being quick if you need it to be by putting a lot of money into it. So I kind of view it for like what I've seen of like, if you are going to do in-person events and you want to see quick ROI, you have to throw a lot at it. And this is a little bit of like armchair marketing with me of just like what I see is when you're at these huge conferences, it is insane, like the attention that especially like operators and founders are getting, because they are getting thrown every invite, every exclusive party, every VIP, come do this with us crazy experience. So like if you are going, it's like ads. If you are going to go for it, you have to bid heavy. And so with us, we don't do that play because we're not going to outbid the Shopify's, the Klaviyo's, who are like any of those, partners, peers of ours in the software world who have the playbook that they know how to run, and they have 50 people there who can go and chat with everyone. That is not where we are as a company. So our growth and our quickness comes from after that. So, what I think is so fascinating about being a marketer at Malomo is our conversion rates are really high because once people see the product and the ROI, they're like, "Well, yeah, no duh." Like the conversion is where we get that speed. Where I think on the front end of like capturing someone's attention and bringing them into the sales funnel can be really quick for other people, like from events, right? Where if you have this huge dinner, people are like, okay, that was awesome. You know what? Like, you guys gave me a great night. I'll hop on a call. And then the slower sales process begins. For us, it is like, we will not compete with those. So we're going to make it so that when you are at the place where you're like, I'm so frustrated by these delayed orders and our customers inbounding and asking, like every single day we get 50 of where's my order? Where's my order? When your CS team is like, I'm fed up, and you can go and be like, wait, there's this platform that will not only solve that, but also generate extra revenue. Then you're going to be like, I'm sold. Right. So that's where the quickness comes from. It's just a different part of the sales cycle. If that does that make sense?
Yeah. See ya. Just going to an event, or you get like getting your little event tags out. Look how many events I go to.
Yeah. I mean, and like truly, I don't even go to that many. It's probably, I think, like 4 a year. Um, and so events really aren't they're great for us in the educational standpoint,
Yeah.
like I said. But
No,
like
that's fair.
some people, yeah, and truly, like I can't go to every event every week like some teams can because they have, the team and the playbook that they're running and it works really well for them. But for us, when I'm looking at like, okay, our SEO is bringing in organically a lot of our inbound leads, it makes more sense for me to focus on that play because the sales cycle is quicker and people can just hop into the platform and do all the things. So yeah,
Let's
just
talk
a
about
different,
SEO.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry, cut you off. Let's talk about SEO, particularly the new age SEO, which is like search everywhere optimization. Like it's 2025, all anybody cares about is AI, right? So what are you guys doing to show up in these LLMs, the Claudes, the Chat GPT, the OpenAIs, the Chat GPTs, when someone search for, I don't know, give me a search term that someone would search for, and then what are
Like
you guys
order
doing to try
tracking.
and show up for that? Yeah. So do you guys have a strategy on how are you planning to show up in these AI searches for that?
Yeah, and you've caught this conversation at a great time because it is very, very front of mind for me. It is every day I'm looking at like what are people saying? What is the, on LinkedIn or whatever Reddit, I'm looking at, okay, this is just colloquially or just like people's thoughts. And then looking at, okay, what softwares have been released, what updates have been released to them, how are people using it, all of these, webinars and whatnot. So really just being like a student of what people are seeing, what people are kind of preaching of this is the software, this is why AI is working. So I think that's like number one because we are all some people are and I am not the like first and foremost person to like go and get every update. Like some people are so on it. It's like as soon as they're released, they know. So I'm definitely probably like a day or so behind. But I would say like outside of the educational standpoint, I have recently been trying out air ops and they're more prescriptive in like how to actually rank better in AI. I know we've also discussed Noah Toa too, and that is like kind of helping you understand where your rankings are currently. Also using SEMrush to understand what we're currently this is more on the SEO side, but what we're currently, some opportunities for keywords for us and what is quote unquote smart for us to target and competitors what are they targeting. So I would say a lot of my learnings right now are I'm just trying to apply them with what we're doing. So formatting is a big one, right? Like how can we adjust the SEO posts that we're already producing that's already part of my schedule so it's easy just to like switch those habits in. How can we put in more bullets and make sure that our, like typical like or I guess standard of like H1, H2, H3, like how can we make sure that our SEO posts are structured in a way that lends itself well to ranking on LLMs. What else have I been doing? Definitely comparing ideas, taking it out of SEO too, of like social media posting, so LinkedIn articles, and I know Reddit and Substack, like other places that LLMs look for people's opinions on. So I'm now starting to produce LinkedIn articles, not just posts, but articles. And LinkedIn right now wants to reward people who are posting those. So yeah, that's kind of like main things, main focuses right now has been what are the quick wins that we can get and just start implementing those like today, yesterday, so that we can start to rank better, understand what new technologies are out there that can help us and be valuable to us. So yeah, it's definitely I mean it's so continuous. It feels like every other day you have the training wheels on, then off, and then on, and then just learning new and better ways.
Fair enough. So that was Air Ops. I'm just for people
Yes.
who are listening. Air Ops is also a SaaS. Their whole play is to help you win AI search. So I'm guessing they've got a software that or a service that'll help you write content that'll rank in LLM. So that's just airops.com if anybody wants to check that out. I certainly will be because they got a free trial. We love that.
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
As
we
we
love that.
discussed.
Yes, yes.
Yep, and that's what I've
Okay.
been playing around in. I feel like a lot of it is just, yeah, the learning, playing around phase where I just see people where they're like, "Oh, I tried this and ChatGPT, and this is what I got." Like, go try it, see what you get.
Yeah, I think it's the early days. Nobody has the concrete answers.
Mhm.
There's a few known things like the bullet points, like you mentioned, making it easy for an LLM to crawl your article and site and all that sort of stuff. All of the other SEO stuff still reigns true. Speaking with some big SEO dogs in the game, like Carl's Float and whatnot. Still a big fan of links. Let's not skip out on those backlinks for your SEOs out there. Super
Yep,
important.
and, like, the technical side too of making sure that you don't
Yeah,
have toxic backlinks too, like, there's also the audit side of SEO where it's like, okay, how are you monitoring the health of your website and, like, links and, making sure your site maps are updated and all of that stuff, yeah.
do you remember when Core Web Vitals used to be a thing?
Honestly, I
So
feel
it's
like
like
it tickles, like, my brain, but, like,
I used to just have this. I don't know what. Who cares about me? I had this affiliate site where I used to run about cats, and
for
Core
you.
Web Vitals was like talk of the town back in the days of SMTPs. It was like Core Web Vitals, man. It's got to be all green and blah blah blah. And if it's not, you'll never rank. Now, I mean, the biggest sites fail Core Web Vitals. Like Airbnb fails Core Web Vitals.
Yeah.
The technical, I just want because you said technical. I just don't obsess over Core Web Vitals. Is if you see one little thing that's red and it's don't go break your site to try and
Yeah,
fix
it's
it.
not it's and, like, a lot of things, it's not the end all be all, right?
Yeah,
Like,
facts. Yeah,
it takes a lot of different irons in the fire to, like, fuel some stuff. Yeah.
good segue. Back when I had that site, I made some huge errors. I changed my URL structure just as I was starting to rank, and I tanked one site completely. So that completely flopped. Can you can you remember one experiment in marketing that you ran that completely just fell flat? And why do you think
For
that
sure.
happened?
Yeah, actually very similar to we had moved all of our so, like, with the URL structure, we had moved some of our, like, highest performing pages to I can't remember if we had moved it to, like, with the URL with the blog or if we'd removed it, but, like, we definitely it was playing with the URL structure. And we learned that lesson the hard way of just seeing it yeah, like, the
I feel for
credibility.
you.
Yeah, yeah, it's just like, you're like, "God damn it."
Yeah, I know
And you,
exactly how
of
you
course
feel.
yep, yeah, yeah, so when you said that, I was like, "God damn, yeah, I know."
Yeah.
Yeah, so you learn that lesson the hard way. Luckily, have recovered from that, from years ago, but it's those things, right, where you're just like, "Oh god, yeah, why'd we do that? We learned it, there's no going back." And there have been, like yeah, I know there have been other ones, but, like, SEO has definitely been the strongest learning lesson for us with, like, don't tinker with things unless you have really good reasoning for it and, like, really good partners, really good tech platforms, like, get all of the information that you possibly can
Yeah.
before making those adjustments, yeah.
Yeah, or just don't make it. No, I'm joking.
Or just never change anything.
Yeah,
Which honestly,
exactly.
that could also be successful for a lot of people, I'm sure, of
And they
just, like,
can for
sticking
sure.
to what you're doing. Yeah.
Are you able to what are you struggling with right now? What's the biggest bottlenecks when it comes to go to market or scaling for Malomo?
Yeah, I would say for go to market in general Definitely something that's been top of mind has been because I feel like with outbound, like obviously I'm marketing right. Inbound is majority of my focus, but we don't focus on outbound right now. And we have in the past. And the industry kind of also flowed with that of like, you know, it's always a pendulum, right? Where it's like something really works, everyone starts doing it, and then it swings into not working because it's saturated and everyone's tired with getting like LinkedIn automated messages or emails or event invites or whatever it is. And so we kind of swung in the same direction of like outbound is not working for us anymore. Let's focus on inbound and channel and has served us well. But now I'm kind of like, okay, are we back in a spot where people are more open to outbound? TBD, honestly. I think with AI, it's like still murky waters if people want to hear from other people or like even automated messages. So that's kind of been something that I've been bouncing back and forth between right now, where it's like, is it worth the investment to maybe for overall go to market, look into pursuing outbound more heavily now? Or is it, we're just charging forward on inbound and channel from Lomo? So yeah, that'd be my quick answer.
I would say it's not that it doesn't work, it's perhaps the way you're doing it. To
Yeah,
anybody that would say that it's like saying SEO is dead. It's like, well, it's
I
not.
agree.
It's
Yeah.
just you're not doing it right.
Yeah. Generalizations I don't stand by in like
Yeah.
just
So I'm
whatever.
wondering
Yeah.
if there's a world where you switch it up, you try a different technique because I know exactly what you're saying. We've all received those messages and like when was the last time you were thrilled to get a cold email?
Yes.
Unless it
Yeah.
was written in a very unique way that you haven't seen before. And then I bet you clicked it and was like, "Oh, this is actually pretty good." And then
Yeah.
maybe you
Yeah.
went to their LinkedIn, right? And then like to their website and then free trial. Sweet. We love that. And then I think it works. I think it might have legs depending on your budget. I think it might be something to look at. Definitely works for us and for the clients that we do it for. You do have to do it a particular way. Is it as good as inbound? No. Does it fill the pipeline? And it's that thing again. If you picture a pyramid, 3% of the buyers are ready now anyway. And so if you just consider the outbound as like going to an event, it's kind of the same thing. You're
Yes.
getting more eyeballs on it.
I love that color of it. Yes. I would agree.
But is it as good as paid ads? You don't know, right? Because you haven't tested. So a couple of things to
Exactly.
test there, maybe.
Yeah,
It's
and that's
interesting, right?
also one of those things where I think especially right now as we're recording this, like right before the holiday season, where looking into ads might make more sense. So that's definitely there will never stop to be like to-dos and okay, how do we explore this? How do we trial it? How do we, set it up in a way where it could be successful and give us some really crucial information about, okay, like that actually is a great channel for us now. Pursue it and keep iterating on it. Yeah.
I'd love to throw some more 2 cents in after if you want about outbound because I can tell you about
Yeah.
some stuff where we're getting like really, really awesome results, like 18% reply rates on cold
Love
email.
that.
It's crazy.
Yes. Yeah.
Happy to do that. All right, switching gears, but still on the topic of AI. How do you, outside of business, like sort of for your day to day, what have you automated? You obviously use AI for like SEO outlines and all these sorts of things, but what do you find yourself using the most? What do you find yourself using AI for the most?
Yeah. So, but you said outside of business or still within Malomo parameters?
I guess I worded that pretty poorly. Forgive me. I guess it would be.
I think you can be forgiven. You're quite great at this.
I'm gonna say running. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna say for business. So running your day to day in terms of responding to an email, uh, doing an SEO outline, doing. I mean, do you do keyword research with AI? Like, as in literally going into Claude or Gemini and saying it would know your business if you had a project. Give me 3 keywords this week. Like, do you keep it that simple, or do you have some sort of complex workflow?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha now. Yeah. For SEO, like I definitely programmed it to know kind of what I want, like the structure with that is favorable to AI of, have and I'll give it the keyword because I have and I've tried honestly to and maybe there's more to be doing in this area, but I've tried to have AI do the keyword ranking or like tell me which ones I should be targeting right now or whatever next week or blah blah blah.
Mm,
And I haven't found that it matches with what I'm manually looking at in Google Analytics. And so it's like, I'm going to defer for the keyword research and like SEMrush still. Like I use those to defer to, okay, this is the current search volume for it. It's really high intent and it's pretty low on the like competitive scale. So like I'm gonna go with those. But I've tried to match it up. So I think some of the parts with me using AI right now is like, how can I basically gut check against what I'm doing manually and look at AI of like, okay, what keywords does it tell me that I should be targeting? Do I already have keyword like post for those keywords? Is it giving me something that it's already given me? Kind of like learning just more about what I could be doing in the future and how much like I want to, I guess, veer away from the manual processes that I have and still trust right now, which I'd love to hear your opinion on that. But as far as automating, it's like, okay, this is the structure. You should write it in. I want the bullet points. I want the key takeaways at the top, kind of after an intro. These like this is, it knows our website. So like our sitemap, these are other things that you can link to. Um, this is our audience, like all of that prompting that it knows, okay, when I say write an SEO post about blah, 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 then write it in this way that I like. So I would say that's probably the most useful automation. And then I've also carried that over into emails as well, where if I like to test, as you might be seeing with like AI of like, okay, I have my general ideas, but I'll put the general question, like say, like, give me a drip campaign about, we use the example of data, right? So like, give me some ideas around a drip campaign for or a campaign around data and specifically like problem orders of delayed shipments. See what it gives me. Compare that with kind of what I've been thinking through about how I want to run the campaign and then blend the two together and then have, AI write the actual copy itself or give me, some subject lines to A/B test, whatever it is. So that's something I've definitely gone to AI to just help with the speed there. I think too, an interesting one has been for which I feel like the Canva, Figma, like graphic design area has been looking into what their AI can do. I know like I think they call it Canva Magic, but testing around in there. And I think for a lot of, I mean, for brands, it's like when you have a product, it'll look different versus ours when it's, or sorry, I should say a physical product, not a software product. For ours, where it's like, it's not going to be that detailed when I say like, create a platform like give me 5 ways that this platform could work versus like if you have like a beauty product, it can put in all the different backgrounds and like all the different applications. But that has also been something that I've been experimenting with is what can kind of the graphic design aspect of these platforms do for AI. That's like less on the automation front though, and that's just more playing
Mm.
around. But that's
Nano.
one we haven't spoke about yet.
Have you seen Nano?
I didn't know, like I
Nano.
Yeah. What's your opinions?
Phenomenal. I think
Yeah.
these images that AI's and videos that AI's churning out now are phenomenal.
Mhm. Yeah.
You're not like
Yeah. The quality is kind of like it blows my mind a little bit of how incredible, like, and well produced they are.
think for e-commerce, who buys stuff? I think a certain demographic, and then I think about my mum.
Yep. Uh-huh.
And I reckon if I showed 4 pictures and said which one's AI and they were all AI or like whatever, like, I don't think my mum would be able to tell.
So fair.
And
I think
to me,
a lot
that's
of
insane.
people. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. And I think a lot of people would also be right there with you of it's hard. It's hard to tell. Like unless it's obvious, right? Like and like
This
you
is
can
the
tell
part where I
that
say,
something's out of place.
I'm AI this whole time.
Oh my
This is
god,
an
see,
AI avatar the
I
whole
knew it.
time.
Oh my god, I should have said it. I am too, which is fun.
But like, okay, that sounds crazy, but one day that's going to be the truth, right? Like we're going to have our AI avatars talking to one another, and you can already get an AI to have a podcast with you. They can take your
Yeah.
blog post and turn it into a podcast and do crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of my hot take of AI has been lookalikes and the morality around it and the what's the way I want to say it? I guess like the legality of it is quite it's up in the air right now. We're in this time where it is our technologies move faster than legislation and especially on such a global scale for such a new industry. Yeah, it's wild. It's the Wild West right now
It's the
in
Wild
AI.
West. Yeah, ain't that
Mhm.
the truth for sure. Uh,
Yes.
we'll just leave it at that, I think.
Yeah.
Let me, let me
A good
check,
Easter
let me
egg, a
check the
good clip
time.
for the
Yeah.
promos of the show.
Okay, we're kinda running long. So, was there anything that you wanted to talk about? Any particular thing that you wanna mention that I may
I
have
think
missed?
yeah, I think one of the biggest things has been also as a marketer is and this is less so around like AI, but you could even use AI to give you ideas for this or implement, has been like different CTAs across the site. And so I touch upon this to share. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about of like top of the funnel and education, where we offer a like complete design mock-up and just so brands can see what their order tracking page looks like. And that has been one of the highest performing CTAs on our site. And it's something that I just thought of years ago of like let's see because it's such a visual product. So I'll tie that into if there is something about your product that you see, like, as soon as people see it, they catch on, and for us, that's, like, as soon as people see their page, they're like, "Oh, wait, what? I didn't even know this was possible." I would say, like, for marketers out there to lean into that, and you can use AI to give you, like, different ideas of how to do it, but that I think has been one of the most rewarding things as a marketer is typically you're used to seeing, like we said, like, free trials or start for free or whatever, CTA that like gets you into the platform, but I think CTAs that are a little bit higher in the funnel are also super valuable. So yeah, I offer that little tidbit as we wrap up.
Good way to end that segment, but we're not wrapping up yet. We've gotta do the lightning
Yeah,
round.
you're right. The lightning round. Yes. Yeah, yeah. How could I have forgotten?
Hang on, I unplugged myself. 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, heavens, I'm a mess.
It's always something, right?
Phew. Yeah, and I also feel my energy fading. I'm, like, slumping in my chair. Sit
Yeah,
up.
that's why I stand because I feel like I can move about and
Yes.
do all the things.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to do what I like to call the lightning round. So I'm just going to ask you a series of quick questions, and I hope you can just answer them with the first thing that comes into mind. If you're ready for it.
Ready for it. Let's go.
Okay. Favorite AI tool you discovered this month?
It's got to be AirOps, airops.com. Yep. Super
They're
in their
getting
platform right now.
they're getting free promo. Okay.
Yeah, they really are. If you guys see this, okay, come back to
What
me with it.
is what is one AI tool you can't live without right now?
ChatGPT. Feels basic, but I think that's why that's my answer.
1 sec. I just reconnect my headphone. ChatGPT, right?
Yes, ChatGPT.
That's fair. That's fair. What is a first marketing task that people should automate with AI?
Copywriting for sure, especially long form like SEO, where it can be a repeatable process. I would say start there.
I'm going to push back on that because I think this is an interesting one.
Please
I
do.
have I have no, I think it's a valid thing to do. However, we have to add caveats. Surely it can't just be one hero prompt, one click wonder. Don't just say write me an article on the best cat food. Yep, that'll do, and publish. So it takes a lot of training the AI and like a lot of project files to automate that. However, the time input to that is as you said is absolutely the first thing that I think we should do
Yeah. I
as
guess like
marketers.
worth it in the long run for like
Yeah.
some of the short term onboarding, we'll call it.
Yep.
Can I
Yeah.
ask you what
I
your answer to that would be?
no. Well, yes. Why would I say no?
No, you can't. Goodbye.
It really depends at what stage the company is at. If we're scaling and we need content, it's definitely that. But also outreach. I think automated outreach across the board, across multiple different channels, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, is highly valuable, and that's seen some really good ROI for me in some partnerships that I'm running.
I stand with that. I like it.
Thank you.
Like it a lot.
What is the most overhyped AI marketing ideal?
Yeah, I think the willingness to toe the boundary, to try and get a quick win. Like, I think and this goes into kinda like AI lookalikes, like, if you know you're using AI to do something that's a little bit shady, like, I've heard people talking about, like, running an ad that looks like a podcaster right before their real podcast goes live on YouTube, and people think it's them. Personally, I can't stand by that with my like how I go about the world. And I think that that will, even if it's quick wins, like it gets you some orders or whatever you're trying to sell by an AI lookalike, it is going to potentially blow up. And I don't think that that is the right way to do business. Sure, some people will say, like, you know what, any PR is good PR, but I can't stand by it.
Fine, I'll bite. I'll bite. What happened, right? What something's pissed you off recently that this has become a thing because it's like the fourth
Well,
time. What
I
happened?
saw I guess it's just my algorithms. They play off of fears, right? So I guess it's my algorithms showing me just like all of these mostly like influencers or people in the public sphere and them being like, that's not me. Like people running ads saying that they were on this podcast. Yeah,
1 second. Are you super blurry? Did you drop out?
I am not to me. Am I to you?
Yeah. So I'm so sorry. Carry so
No, it's okay. Is it fine now?
yeah, you're cutting. You're sounding like a robot.
Okay, let me just, typical, turn on camera on, camera off with the mic. Is that any better?
Along with me. No, but it films on your end anyway, so you'll still be in high definition.
Okay.
I'm so sorry to cut you off, but
No, no, you're
I
good.
was asking what happened recently that triggered you to to take this
Yeah.
stance.
I mean, I feel like I also well, one of my favorite podcasts just to listen to in my personal life is Armchair Expert, and they have a lot of, experts on there, but also celebrities. And so I don't even remember the name of which I believe she's an influencer that like came up on my feed and she was just talking through how this one company, like a software company, or actually, no, I think it was a software company like hosting the podcast, but then she was talking about a beauty product. And she's like, I don't use it. I never have. And for me as a consumer, I don't like the distrust there and like as a person. So
I see.
that's why I'm like, it doesn't, for me, that's like where it's like the hot nerve, where it's like everyone should be able to protect their individuality. And for someone to encroach on that, I feel like it goes against my personal beliefs of like, you have a business, yes, do the things, money, whatever, but like also be a good person of like, don't try and scam other people. Cause I think for me, it's like it's going to prey on the vulnerable people who aren't going to know that that's AI. And then they're going to be disillusioned into buying something because their favorite influencer said to buy it, but that's all fake. Like, I think that's where when I parse through it a bit more of like, it doesn't seem like the quality or the standard that we should like hold ourselves higher to. So that's where I get my soapbox a little bit, where it's like, sure, I'm in marketing and like you're obviously the messaging that you are putting out into the world is curated and it is meant to, you know, be the best that it possibly can be. But I think when it goes to the extent of being so close to a human, but you're not that human, I think it's like robbing someone of their individuality. And like, I think of it from like an IP lens, right? Like someone's personhood is all they have at the end of the day. So like taking that from someone, I think it doesn't feel right to me. And like, I think businesses, if they get into that tricky water, it also is not gonna probably go down well when people figure that out because it will come out. And sure, maybe it's like baiting people into it and you'll get all this PR, but I just know I can't stand by people doing that and agree with it.
Well, I think that's a great way to end the show.
There we go.
Moral of the
I'll
story,
take it.
don't be a shitty person. Use AI
Exactly.
responsibly.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like if we're using this technology that is so good, it's like we all have, it's like a moral social contract where it's like we should, maybe we can't fully explain why that's immoral yet. Or like Jonathan Haidt's like questions where it's like you can't fully explain why it feels wrong, but it like unanimously people kind of all fall in this boat. It's like moral dumbfounding questions or something like that. And so I think that's also just where my personality sits with my background of like neuroscience, people, psychology, like seeing how people connect. I think it's also some elements in there for sure.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. I'm happy to leave it there. If you where should folks go and learn more about yourself or connect with you and learn more about Malomo?
Yeah, LinkedIn, great place. I think my handle or username is just Mariah Parsons. And then our website, gomalomo.com. That's where, that design mockup lives there if you do want to see what your post-purchase experience could look like. Yeah, I think if you want to get in touch, I am hopefully easily accessible via LinkedIn. Let me know if not.
Well, thanks so much for jumping on today. Hope you had a great time, and yeah, really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I truly love these things, right? Like this is one of my meetings that I look forward to. So, and
Happy
hopefully
to
you'll
eat
say the
into
same
the
thing.
Yeah, happy to eat into
Yes.
the allocated 4 hours. Well,
Yeah, there we go. It couldn't be more well spent. So I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. It's been a joy.
well, thanks again, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Scale Forward podcast.